A Chat with Glendora, a show for living right. I'm coming, folks. I'm coming. I need another hand. Can you give me another hand?
A chat with Glendora, a show for living right. A chat with Glendora makes your day so bright. Words of inspiration, jokes to make you smile. Come relax and chat with Glendora for a while.
Thank you, Wayne Collins.
Hi folks, you've heard of the TV show 60 Minutes? Well, the name of this show is 30 Seconds. The next time you go to the supermarket, will you bypass the meat counter and go to the frozen food cases and load up your grocery cart with veggie meats? Hamburger, chicken, turkey, ham. 89 years old, no doctors, no medicine, and my cat is vegan too.
Now, folks, this is also a hat with Glendora, and we decided to.
Hi folks, you've heard
Just
of
a
the
second.
TV show 60 Minutes? Well, the name of this show is 30 Seconds. The next time you go to the supermarket, will you bypass the meat counter and go to the frozen food cases and load up your grocery cart with veggie meats? Hamburger, chicken, turkey, ham. 89 years old, no doctors, no medicine, and my cat is vegan too.
That had 4,000 views on Top Hat Facebook.
Hi folks, you've heard of the TV show 60 Minutes? Well, the name of this show is 30 Seconds. The next time you go to the supermarket, will you bypass the meat counter and go to the frozen food cases and load up your grocery cart with veggie meats? Hamburger, chicken, turkey, ham. 89 years old, no doctors, no medicine, and my cat is vegan too.
This year, so.
Now, I get the impression that
Hold it, everybody.
really are no longer a resident of the
Anyway, we have 50
Yeah, I
hats,
don't really feel as much like it anymore.
and we decided to show you all 50.
So like next winter would be the same, I
And the
think.
first 10 are done.
But then like every year after that,
And that is Austin. And we're pointing out that Austin now has a primary residence in Boston, on his way to being a PhD in psychology, clinical psychology, and that he really isn't the successor trustee of the Glendora Franklin Museum anymore for the preservation of the pro se public access newspaper record. And the next one is Gregory's vows that he will take care of the museum, and he does it very well. And the next cut is Gloria reading the obituary for a chat with Glendora. Now back to the 10 hats. I think, let me see if I can model these for you. They make much more sense if they're modeled. This is a fedora that's a real joy to wear. These are hats 11 through 20. The lawyer says, I want a new trial on the basis of new evidence. And the judge says, what's the new evidence? The lawyer says, I just found out my client has another $20,000. This is a broad brim, lavender. And Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall and Humpty Dumpty had a great fall, said the lawyer. The bricks in the wall are loose. We have a great case. We will sue Mother Goose. And by the way, Mother Goose has arrived. Mother Goose has arrived with 5 endearing goslings. Oh, they're so sweet. And right at the end is Papa Gander. He's a gander and he's a papa, so he's a Papa Gander. This is a hat with buttons, different colored buttons all the way on it. So, you know, I do have all my buttons. And they teach the law students in law school, if you know the law, you hammer the law. If you know the facts, you hammer the facts. And folks, if you don't know either, you hammer the table. Now this is a little Cockney hat, an English Cockney hat. Isn't that fun? And the ideal contract for a lawyer is words too large to pronounce and print too small to read. There was a collision of 2 cars. And the third car pulled up, and the man got out, and he says, I saw the whole thing happen. I'm a lawyer. I'll take either side. This is probably the oldest hat I have. Maybe the buttons. And this is a red fedora. I wish I had a red derby. If you see a red derby anywhere, buy it. Send it to me with a receipt. I'll pay you double for it. Or if you don't want that, I'll just pay you the amount. Now, this is a joy through and through. This is a broad brim. Isn't it magnificent? Let's see. The man drove home from work. He drove into his driveway, and there's his 5-year-old daughter standing in the driveway, and she looks very disturbed. And he says, what's the matter, honey? And she says, I've been having nothing but trouble with your wife all day long. Here's another broad brim. And I think a couple fell on the floor, which you didn't see. Oh, these are nice. Oh, these are really nice. They're all nice. So these are hats 11 through 20. Next week, I'll try to show you hats 21 through 30. A pink fedora. And this is a fuchsia fedora. A chat with Glendora to show that how you live right, and you live right, you wear a hat. And gentlemen, you wear hats. And people will, I guess maybe the average on a day is 4. People say, I like your hat. Oh, your hat is great. Oh, people like people in hats, but they're too behind the times to wear them. or ahead of the times or something. But gentlemen, you look good in hats. And many of the comments, I would say maybe more than would be the men who comment on the hats. And the women who comment are fewer women than men. A Chat with Glendora, a show for living right. I have to talk to you about something. I'm going to talk to you about something that your conscience has been telling you to do for a long time and you haven't been doing it. Go alone. Go alone to a sanctuary and listen to God, the God that is inside of you. It is the God that is inside of everybody. The God that is inside of you is your soul. And it is the God that is inside of everybody. Now, the Chat with Glendora doesn't teach you anything, because everything I'm telling you, you know already. You just have to be reminded to do it. And you go and you listen to that soul inside of you, which is really the God of the universe, which is really the God. Your area of it, your sum of it, S-U-M of it, or S-O-M-E in it, S-O-M-E. And you do what that God tells you to. And your conscience is the voice of that God, that soul that's inside of you. And you listen to that conscience, and you do what it tells you to do. And I know what it's going to tell you to do. Should I tell you, or should you go and find out yourself? Which is better? I don't know which is better, but I think I'd better tell you. It's going to tell you to give up everything. And just help others. You're afraid to do that, aren't you? You're hanging on to old sweets. And you're afraid to do that, aren't you? Well, take your choice. Take your choice. You can die happy or you can die unfulfilled. But believe me, that ego and that selfishness, that's a sham. That's a scam. It promises you happiness, success, wealth, and that you're better than anybody else. But it doesn't deliver. The only thing that delivers that happiness is helping others. After all that is said and done, the only thing that really matters is how you treated others. May the peace of God, which passes all understanding, rule, R-U-L-E, rule in your mind and heart. You want me to say a prayer for you. People are always saying, say a prayer, say a prayer, say a prayer. I say this prayer for you. May the God of peace, which passes all understanding, rule in your mind and heart. Who said that? Paul. Paul, the apostle of Christ, the apostle of God. Where? Philippians. What chapter? 4. What verse? 7. May the God of peace, my prayer to you, which passes understanding, rule in your mind and heart. Go alone to your sanctuary and hear that yourself and be happy. 10 hats will make you happy, 11 through 20. but helping others will make you much happier. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us be glad and rejoice in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. That came from Psalm 118. All right, let's find some more lawyer jokes. Or I guess we're all out of lawyer jokes, right, folks? Oh, pay special attention too. I am sorry, clipboard, that I dropped you, but I'm glad that gravity is here. Pay special attention to April 17th. That is Earth Day. That day is very important. That day is even more important than Christmas. Earth Day. Earth Day. And pay special attention to the first day of the year, New Year's Day. And it is not on January 1st. It is on December 21st. That's when the Earth, the winter solstice begins. You can't say it's when the trip of the Earth around the sun begins, because there is no beginning and there is no ending. But it's 24 hours, and we build our day by that, our day of helping others by that. And the New Year's Day is December 21st, the winter solstice, around 22nd sometimes. I think sometimes it might even go to the 20th. But that's how wrong our calendar is. We've tried very hard through Gregory the Great, through the Romans. The Romans were so wrong on the calendar, they took a year with no dates at all on it to catch up. But we are wrong about our calendar. 28 days in February, some months with 30 days, some months with 31. But remember, April 17th is Earth Day. What are you going to say about the Earth? The spin of the Earth. 24 hours, spinning 600 miles an hour. And what are you going to say about gravity? We don't fly off. And that was an example of gravity there, mishandled. What else do you have to say about it? It's 2/3 water. 2/3 of it was water. We are glad that not all of it is water, because we need land to live on. We have land, North America, South America, Africa, Antarctica, Australia, Asia, Europe, the Arctic. We have land. And what about that land? Miracles come out of that soil. Did you see them come out this spring? Did you see them come out? The snowdrops, the crocus, the daffodils, the tulips, the jonquils, the forsythia. You know where forsythia gets its name? From James Forsyth, a British botanist, and he was first to bring out the fact that forsythia, the blossoms come before the leaves, as they do with the magnolia trees. We have the weeping cherries. Why are you weeping, cherries? We have the cherry blossoms and the apple blossoms. And we have the lilacs, and we have the dandelions. Oh, how I admire their fortitude. They are terrific. And such a complex flower. So many petals on one blossom. And they close up at night, and they open up in the morning. I love the dandelions. Lilacs, tulips, hyacinths. That's the soil. The miracles that come out of the soil. And that's Earth Day, April 17th. Why are you talking about it, Glendora, on May 27th? Well, I'll talk about it every day. Okay. I need I don't have an opposable thumb. I need fingers. Did I show you the snowman? Isn't he sweet? Don't you just love him? We have a new vegan commercial, folks. And I wanted to show it to you, but I couldn't find it in the archives over here on the electronic bench. So I'll have to do it for you, but it's much better if you would see the electronic one. It starts out, "Hi folks, computers are in the Bible. Eve said to Adam, 'Do you want an apple too?' The next time you go to the supermarket, bypass the meat counter. Go to the frozen food cases and load up your grocery cart with veggie meats. Hamburger, chicken, turkey, ham. 90 years old. No doctors, no medicine, and my cat is vegan too." Now, the last 3 seconds of that commercial is the most lovable close-up of .com looking up asking for her vegan kibble, or vegan linkettes, or vegan ham, or vegan turkey. Oh, she's a winner. She's a TV star through and through. And right now, she's asleep on my blouse that's going into the laundry basket. She's curled up on that, and she's got a pillow, and she's happily asleep, blissfully asleep. You're a TV star again, .com. A cat with Glendora, a hat with Glendora. Okay, let's see if I left out any jokes here. Jokes. Jokes. Here's jokes. The lawyer says, "It gives me a grand and glorious feeling to dispense legal advice." And his client says, "That's right. You give him a grand and he feels glorious." And the lawyer said to a new client, "Yes, I will take your case on a retainer basis. That will cost you $3,000 and that entitles you to 2 questions. $3,000, 2 questions. Isn't that expensive? Perhaps. What's your second question?" Maybe I've done enough on lawyers. If you can't get a lawyer who knows the law, then for heaven's sakes, get one who knows the judge. No, I told you that one, I think, about the evidence, right? And Humpty Dumpty. And hammer, I told you that one. Okay. Now we go from, we've done the Bible, we've done the hymn, and we've done the jokes. What's the next thing? The words. Accuity. Acuteness. Shrewdness. If you have acuity, you will go by yourself to your sanctuary and you will listen to that voice inside of you and you will do what it says. Now come on. Your conscience has been telling you that long enough and you've been ignoring it long enough. Today, now, is the day to do it. No more excuses. No more I don't like that word, I won't use it. The second word is acculeate. A-C-U-L-E-A-T-E. Having a sting, like these jokes about lawyers. Beset with prickles. Stinging, biting. For instance, that wind today was acculeate. What? That wind today was acculeate. Oh. What's the next word? What's the number of these words? 111, 12, 112, and 113. This is the Chat with Glendora collection of beloved words. Acumen. Acuteness. Keenness in practical and intellectual matters. I've seen dogs like that. Dogs have that keenness in practical and intellectual matters. Okay. The next word is acuminate. A-C-U-M-I-N-A-T-E, which means coming to a sharp point, like up here, right? Needle-shaped, like the leaves of a pine tree. Acuminate. And the last word, 115, is acute. Has a couple of meanings. Acute can mean critical. Like the doctor who said to the young lady, "You have acute appendicitis." And she says, "Now look, doc, I came here to medical help and not to be flattered." Acute. Perspicacious. Keen. Sharp-witted. Adroit. No, not adroit. Adroit is something with your hands. Okay. Acute, sharp-witted, perspicacious, keen. So, now is the time that we share. Oh, Queens, that's 27 minutes, Queens, but we're not doing Queens. We're doing Soul to Soul for Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and 70 TV stations from Boston to San Francisco. I'll get you later, Queens. At 7 o'clock, I have a little clock that goes off to remind me of the spin of the earth that we just went over a few minutes ago. The shed, I lost on the shed. I failed on the shed. I was trying to save the sweet shed. And all it wants to do is help you and protect you. But the owners of the property are going to tear it down. And my neighbors were not particularly altruistic. They didn't help a bit. And I asked quite a few of them. So I lost in the shed. It's going to be torn down. Aww. Aww. Pastor Stonus, Church of the Bible, Plainville, Connecticut, Chapter oh, wasn't way up there, 25, 35, on Joseph, who had the coat of many colors, and his brothers sold him to the Egyptians. Excelled on his exposition of said chapter, and he received 900 impressions on Twitter. Congratulations, Pastor Peter Stonis. The Vegan One commercial you just saw, that was on Channel 6, WRGB Albany, CBS, received 58,000 views, estimated by the ratings. On Facebook, it received 4,000 posts. And on YouTube, which is usually very low and very slow, in something like, since 2006, it's received 75,000 views. But on that commercial, Vegan One supermarket, veggie meat, it received 190 views. That's very good for Facebook. So now we're going to take Vegan 2 commercial, which I just did for you, and you didn't have the benefit of seeing the graphics, which are Google Glendora, Facebook Glendora, a chat with Glendora, at gmail.com. We're putting that on channel 10, ABC, Albany, the last week of June, June the 25th. And the negotiation for the price of the airtime was well addressed. It was skillfully managed. It was adroitly handled. They wanted $250 for a 30-second spot. This is in May. Inventory is rather high in May. Let's look forward to when the inventory goes down as summer approaches and there are fewer viewers. How about 5 of them, instead of at $250 a piece, at $200 a piece, 5 of them for $1,000. With payment up front by U.S. postal money order, and across the board, Monday through Friday, the week of June 25th. I don't think so. Oh, I don't think we can do that. Let a few days go by. Let it mulch. Yep, we'll take your offer. Good. How do we file Zilla the commercial to you? That'll be next week's job. The commercial's all made. It's so good if you could see .com at the end. Oh, that is so good to see you at the end.com on the floor now. Okay, I'll let you know how that negotiation comes out. Philly Cam, Debbie Reynolds, Debbie Rudman in Philly Cam gives the most absurd reasons. In fact, they're unintelligible. Instead of having acuity, as we said, instead of being acute, instead of being perspicacious, instead of being shrewd, they're dull, stupid, and obtuse. And I don't understand any of them, and I don't think anybody else would, because it's gibberish. So I have asked to sponsor Dr. Gordon Berman, who is a PhD of Harvard, and who is a lecturer in psychology at the University of Pennsylvania. And he's just back from 5 days of meeting in the Buddhist church. He's an officer in the Buddhist church. He was a former Methodist and a huge contributor to the Buddhist church. When he's back from California now, where they had a big meeting, along with my friend Seki, who is Japanese and a Buddhist. I will wait for them to rest up. I think they've had a chance to rest up from the flight. And I will ask Dr. Vermont if I may take those 8 pages of application and explanation what a chat with Glendora is about and what we want and so forth, and how we will do it by file transfer protocol. And I will ask Dr. Vermont if I can take that pack of papers and send it to Rudman's boss, who is Clausen. Her name is Clausen, her last name is Clausen. I think it's Claudia too. No, Gretchen Clausen. And ask her to expedite this. Enough time has gone by, Debbie Rudman. 3 years of your giving this to Dodge. Where is your public access spirit? This is a show that is trying to help people find their happiness, and they will find it through helping others, and they will find that through going to their sanctuary and listening to their soul inside of them. This is probably the most important message that any television show could have. Where is your public access spirit, Debbie Rudman? DC TV, in a very circuitous route, but somehow or other it succeeds. And the most roundabout website and the most roundabout procedure, but it succeeds. And they've knocked down show week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, so we sent those to other TV shows, which plays them regularly, other TV stations. There are 70 of them. They play them regularly without any fuss or any hassle. So we'll have them play it. Then we made them a new one, and they played that one. And we saw it by streaming. We saw it on DC TV Public Access Channel, our nation's capital. So we sent them week 6, and they shot that down because the wind was going through the microphone. But you don't do that in public access. A Chat with Glendora was probably the first reality show going back 46 years. You do things as they happen in life. You don't cover them up. You don't manicure. You do them as they happen. And if the wind goes through the microphone, that's fine. The air is something to be very thankful for. You can't live 3 minutes without it. And it brings you sound. So it messes up our sound, so people miss a few of our words. But this is reality, DC TV. So we put that aside and sent it to other TV stations who will play it routinely. And then we sent them week 7. And that was about 7 days ago. So it has to go through production to see if the production is okay. Then it has to go through programming. And then they insist upon credits, which they shouldn't insist upon because you're not supposed to tell a public access producer anything to put on his show or her show. But we will do it the way they want us to do it. They want us to say produced by Glendora. I think I'll put that on there, produced by Glendora, with the something of Almighty God. With what? Really, by Almighty God. All of us together produce that show. Everything and everybody in the universe produces that show. Alrighty. I want you to call me, and I want you to do what I'm doing right now. Go through the things that happened this week. and tell me about them and the things that you did for people and how you put away selfishness and ego and how you had the glory and the satisfaction, the guarantee of the same from helping others full time. This 2 pages we've done, so that can go on the floor. These others I can't read. QPTV is doing okay. Thank you, QPTV, for moving forward. Thank you. That meant a lot in the whole public access spirit. And I guess Glendora is going to be a speaker at the Alliance for Community Media, their fall meeting for the Northeast, and it's going to be in Schenectady, New York. Can you spell Schenectady? Where General Electric used to reign? Oh, the joy of the week, the biggest joy of the week, the miracle of the leaves. Leaves, they came out. What a glory. What a joy. What a miracle. How do you do it, universe? The dandelions are here. I told you I love them. Oh, and I went to the dog park with my friend Sandy and her canine, Scout, named after the character in To Kill a Mockingbird. And I'm very impressed by the town of Kinderhook for having a dog park. And they have water in it too, for the dogs to drink. And they have a dog park for little dogs and a dog park for great big dogs. And my nephew, Scott Folsom, is enamored of the dog park. And when I call up to find out how he is, before I know it, the conversation is all over, and all he's talked about is a dog park and the dogs in it, and about his collie, Kelly. Well, this is nice. This is nice. May. I'm going to close with a prayer for you. May the God of peace Himself sanctify you through and through. May the God of peace Himself sanctify you completely through and through. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, I think. May the God of peace Himself sanctify you completely through and through.